How's it going, everyone? This is Anon. None of this is financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get everything started. My dog is grunting behind me and trying to find a comfortable place. What's up, Sacred Goat? Or no, Scared Goat. We just call you Goat, right? What's up, man? You're the first. Clear number one. Not a competition today. I was going to say, Jerry had been number one every single day. Yeah, you got it. Clear winner today. All right, so let's go to... get this stuff out here. What's up, Rothium? Minus 3K today, twice as bad as normal. Oh, you're talking about your personal Aterian balance, or your your entire fund? I mean, I don't know, like your entire portfolio, or just your Aterian one? Green-eyed bandit elixir. What's up, Anon? These prices look tasty. Yeah, I mean, I bought some today at $291. That was pretty good. Pretty happy about that. We'll probably go back and test it one more time, is my guess, but we'll see. We will see. We're flattening out on there. Oh, options. Yeah, I mean, I had a rough day on options too. You know, if you're involved in meme stocks, obviously, you know, it was a bad day for memes in general. Really, really choppy. I'm about 4 bourbons in. I'll try to be on good behavior. What's up, man? What's up, Nathan? Yeah, I mean, today was really kind of just choppy, up and down. Like, we weren't like... I mean, I knew we were going to go into this. Like, every single, like, I mean, you can pull up a bunch of them and look, but, you know, here, let's see. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in, obviously, some of these stocks, like Aterian, DTC, GameStop, AMC, if you can click the likes, the more stuff, if you want to get exposure for any of these stocks, obviously the goal is to get new eyes, and you know, constantly. I'm a really small YouTuber, therefore, like, you know, if I get a bunch of likes, you know, it will help the algorithm actually pick up, and maybe more people who are searching for these tickers might actually see, you know, this live stream and come in and at least hang out and listen. I think right now, for most of us that are in Aterian, like, we obviously need new eyes. So we need to have, you know, some people come in and take a look and kind of understand what's going on here. So I'll just show you guys. Just basically go from the new run up. But yeah, this should be about 292, and you can see, you know, just in this range, every single time it comes, you know, they broke through a little bit there. That was, I think, the market crash day, but, you know, we tend to be kind of just bouncing right off it every single time. So it's holding up pretty well as a level of support. You can go back, like, historically and take a look. I mean, come down, sorry, here-ish, you know, this was, I think, the recent low, right? We hit all the way down to 250s, right? And then this is where we kind of started in at the 245, and then we kind of went up, had this run, bounced off of it, and then we're kind of now consolidating around the 290s. All right, so let's do it this way. We need to hit the Discord up and then tweet real quick that we're doing the live stream, and then after that we should be good. All right, so let's get the Discord up real quick. Yeah, but I had a lot of people personally attacking me today, which was always fun. You know, who doesn't love that? All right. All right, here we go. Put it out for everyone. All right, we're gonna at everyone. All right. Let's put that out there. And last thing is Twitter, right? In the future, I'll start trying to get this out beforehand, but I have to start the stream to actually get it, so. I'm just going to copy this. We can pull up inflow, outflow if you want. This is just from Webull, though, so they only track, I think, their stuff. So it's not like a super great indicator. Today was slightly more outflow than inflow, but I mean, we were down 2%, so that makes sense. So you can see it right there. Here goes my educated guess the stock market will do tomorrow. I don't know. What's up, random? All right, let's see. We're just tweeting right now real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get everything started. Should be good to go then. And I'll say hi to everyone that I see is starting to write. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. I'll go back and find. All right, so Nathan's 4 bourbons in, right? Earthium said cost to borrow. Yeah, I mean, like right now, so it's not. They're not having to short right now. If you have to remember this, so like it's dependent on. Let's go back and let me explain something. So, cost to borrow, right? So, cost to borrow is super important when they're trying to push down the price. They have to obviously borrow more shares to push down the price, right? So, when we were having all this volume, the cost to borrow fees are the highest, and that is because why? Right? It's because they're trying to push down the price, so they need to borrow more shares. The more shares they need to borrow, the higher their fees are going to be because, you know, if you have something that's in demand, like, you know, Aterian shares, which were hard to find during this stretch, right? You can charge more for them. Now, what's happened is we started having the market crash, right? So the market's been crashing, and now we've been in this consolidating pattern where nobody's buying Aterian, so you don't need to short it. So Aterian cost to borrow obviously is going to drop with that. So until they need to start pushing down the stock again, the cost to borrow will go down to normal. So that's what, that's why when people are saying, oh, let's take a look at the cost to borrow, it means that nobody's right now shorting the stock typically. They're just like maintaining it. And they're letting the market algos sell off and then some retail bleed off. So, by the way, if anyone has financial or marital problems, it's all Anon's fault. Very true. Blame me for everything. What's up, Ben the plumber? What's up, Overminding? Young? What's up, Drake? Random? Let's get this bread. What's up, Branded Saint? Another day, another penny. Another day, another losing penny, right? Hey, Anon, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I'm generally getting bored of Aterian. Yet I'm content. I'll just hold on until I make a profit. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been in this stock for a long time. Like, yeah, it sucks when it's red. It sucks when it's down. But like, we were down here at 210. Like, we're basically 90 cents higher right now at $3. If we go back down to that area, like, I'm still gonna just hold because I'm not selling this stock for $2 when like, it just makes no sense. Like, I'll hold and I'll add to my position. Like, you buy, this is the problem with retail, right? So retail does this a lot of times. They'll see something moving, right? So a lot of people bought in the 5 and 6 range, right? To the moon, right? Then the stock price drops. And so what they do is they hold on till it looks absolutely the worst, right? So they'll sell on a day where it bounces off like down here in the 230s, right, taking like a huge loss. And then like a couple days later, it'll skyrocket back up to 5s. And if you had been a little bit patient, if you could just have held your stuff together, you could have exited at a much better price if you didn't want to hold on to the stock. But at the same time, this is what retail does, is they get scared and then they sell because they panic. They go, oh my god, the price keeps dropping, because all they're doing is they're watching the physical dollars disappearing, and they're not looking at the charts. They're not looking at, like, okay, this is obviously our size really oversold right now. Right now the MACD's at the worst. Like, that's what they do. Like, they freak out and then they typically will lose money. And that's what retail for some reason does, and they can't control themselves because it's like a visceral, like, fight or flight thing. And a lot of people are like, all right, F it, like, I'm out. And then they sell, and then like a week later, a day later, who knows, but like, the stock will rebound and they'll go, well, oh my god, what happened? And you go, if you've just been patient and understood that, like, yeah, this whole thing sucked, and then we went up here, and then this whole thing will suck, and then we'll go up here. Like, this is how stocks run, and especially ones that are like meme stocks that are very highly manipulated. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. Yep, shorts are not free. Algos are beating the stock with less than shorts. Yeah, so the cost of borrow goes down. When are you going to give Cypher mod Discord so we can ban that Anon show guy? I mean, I'll mod him tomorrow. Let's do that, right? That's fine. I mean, so anyone that's a mod knows this. I always put it up to a vote, and then we can vote. And there's, I think, a bunch of people who, are probably worthy of being mods too. I mean, I was joking around at one point that we'd have more mods than we'd have actual people like that are in the regular Discord, because we did add a bunch. But yeah, I mean, we can always add more mods. It doesn't really hurt anything. Just gets a little confusing on who banned who and who muted who, and but I don't have enough time in the day anyway to monitor everything. So just stopped by to say that Bloomberg is reporting 11 million shares short. It went from 1077 Friday to 11 million today. Oh, good. Did you DM me that? Fish? Or did you take a screenshot of it by chance? But yeah, thanks, Fish. If you can post that, that'd be great. Yeah, so we can update the spreadsheet too. Right? Oh boy, we get to update the spreadsheet. Who doesn't love updating spreadsheets? Alright, so we'll bring this over. Alright, so he said... Alright, so he said the short interest rate went from 10 to 11, right? 11.3. So let's just throw in 11,300. There. So we're back up to almost 40% short. Oh, Fish, remind me. I want to double check the Bloomberg numbers versus the Fintel ones and the Ortex ones. So, all right, RT. Have a great evening. Have a good night. Green Eye Bandit says, "I've been in crypto for 5 years. I'm numb to any price movement down. Can't scare me." Yeah. I mean, me too. Green Eye said, "Goat. I buy, I hold, I wait. I drink, I buy more, I wait. One of these days, it'll pay." Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can sell covered calls. You know, like I try not to get greedy. I basically won't even go anywhere near unless it's near my, above obviously what I bought them for. And I usually put them in intervals up, even if I'm not going to get a whole lot. But I haven't really been selling any covered calls recently just because Ivy's been so low. I don't want to lose my shares if it does randomly take off. So, but that's just me. But if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. All right, so Tony said, so Fish, if you're thinking correct, you remember how someone posted they had about 600,000 shares available short? That was from Fintel. That explains the difference between the 1077 shares short on Friday and the 11.3 million short today. They're sleaze bags. Yeah, Friday morning there was 850K available. Today it's down to 100K. So we got a little more room for shorting, but then it's mostly gone. Yeah, I mean they'll always find shares, but yeah. Where is this guy? Yep. Hold on, Ben Anderson Watt. There we go. I was on top of that one. I can do it while YouTubing, right? While streaming. All right. So yeah, we're up to about 40% again. I mean, I know everybody was freaking out about, the numbers are going down. I'm like, just give it time. Like, you have to just be patient with this stuff. But, hey, Anon, how many people do you think have stomach ulcers after the drop from 7? Probably a lot, including myself. I mean, obviously it doesn't feel good, on any level. We had a very, very good setup. It's unfortunate that we had a market crash the week that we had that huge options chains. Like, I mean, that just, the timing on that was horrible. And that's something you can control, but it just lined up that way, and they had scared most people out. In my opinion, I think what happened was everyone got nervous, and so there was a lot of people who were like, just not risking any more capital. They're just going to hold and see what happens, and there wasn't enough pressure on the bottom to actually push that stuff up. And so, like, everyone kind of got in their positions and then just held that week, and it's not enough. Like, you needed volume, and we were getting like 2-3 million in volume So it's unfortunate, but it's not the first time I've seen it happen, and it won't be the last. And we'll have other opportunities that the stock will go up. It's honestly just it's a matter of time. And I know people who go, well, how could that be? I'm like, well, all right, listen. Like, you literally watch the stock bleed from, like, what was the high here? 16, 17 a share, all the way down to 210, had to run up to 7. It's going to chop and consolidate, and eventually it will go up again. And as long as people are still buying, like, we can lose the paper hands, that's fine. As long as there's a core group that are still buying, holding, and, locking up shares, this is uncomfortable for the shorts in the long run, because the goal is to get the stock to zero, and it's hard to get it to zero when the lower you push the price, the more shares retail accumulates. Like, that's the truth, and that's why it's a pain. So, man, I'm so glad I don't have any wife or kids. I've got both, and they're great, but at the same time, it very demanding. All right, so Nathan says at least 10. Don't worry, you have to have a rich boyfriend to steal my wife away. Just don't be a loser dad husband. You don't have to worry about it. Yep, that's the goal. Do what we can. But here. All right. So we're back up to, like, basically 40% short interest. We're like 1% away from short. It's 39.1 right now. And we'll see what did Ortex update any of their stuff? Of course, I'm sure they didn't. It's Ortex. I don't know. I guess they get their information from, I think it's SP Global, right? Is that what they use? I think SP Global is what they use, and then IQ Capital is what Fintel uses. Let's see if there's any change. I'm sure they haven't updated. I mean, I don't think they even have their float right. Yeah, they're still reporting right now. Current estimated is 9.8 million. So Ortex doing Ortex stuff. They borrowed 1.1 million, they said today. Cost to borrow was 76, according to them. I mean, it's still high. Like, it's not, but. Hey, Anna, what other plays do you think might be going on that might not necessarily squeeze plays? I know we've talked about DTC on here. Yeah, DTC is kind of like a long-term, like, hopefully like a reversal. If you look at it from just a purely like chart standpoint, it was basically just this huge falling, and then it just broke out, right? So it's breaking out right now. It's consolidating, and then, we're looking for probably a break up from here. Hopefully that was the spring down to the 360s, and then it will come back up. You also need to consider, for example, like, it was completely oversold here. It's come back up. It's now in the middle. It's got plenty of room to move up on the RSI. I mean, it's curled down, though. So far, the stochastic hasn't. Stochastic crossed over, I think, 2 days ago. Was that Friday or Thursday of last week? So we could see another dip here, probably down to the 4s again, and then possibly go back up from there. Right now, the MACD is still over, but it's already kind of flattening out. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we could see another push down if the market crashes in the next couple of days. So if you wanted to entry, good entry would probably be down in the 4s if it gets down that low. We'll see. I mean, it may take off. This is a stock that doesn't have a lot of liquidity, so that's one that's interesting to me. And then if you want to know about like regular stuff, like obviously Amazon's got a stock split going on. But once again, here's my issue with buying an Amazon like today, right? Like, sure, it's up, and the S&P was, I think, did S&P finish up? I think it did, right? Yeah, S&P finished slightly up. But here's my thing, right? I told you guys, I drew this line out. I expect us to get back down here at some point. And because this is following the S&P, I expect Amazon and those other stocks to be down here at this point too, which means that I think there's a better entry down here. Bitcoin took a crap. We don't cover it on here, do we? What's Bitcoin doing? Yeah, Bitcoin down 5% today. It broke through the 30,000 mark the last couple of days, right? Or is that just today? Yeah, it was above it. It was at 31 and then just completely is tanking right now. I mean, it's gonna chop, and it's whenever you see these meme stocks kind of running or getting like it's a weird interconnection. If you tracked out, excuse me, if you tracked out like the, you know, all the meme stocks and then you put them next to like Bitcoin, Ethereum, like crypto, there's this weird connection. So, yeah, and here's my thing. Like I think for at least for me, I'm gonna hold off on like I used to buy like little bits of crypto here and there. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit longer on crypto before I enter back in. Because I know like it hit what like 64 or 65,000 or something like that before on Bitcoin. I want to see what it does because it's been down here before and it's bounced back always. I want to just see what happens though when the entire stock market like crashes. Like that would be interesting to me. So I'm looking at perhaps an entry later on, but I'm holding a lot of like hope that I've been buying SPXU and stocking it up on green days. If you guys know what that is. So just to show you, SPXU typically spikes on, let's see, high volatility, not volatility, sorry, it's an inverse of the S&P, like 3x leverage. So if you go back to, where's this right here, right? This should have been probably COVID, right? So it went from like, at the time, I guess it was probably what, like 80, or is that, yeah, it's 85, and it hit a high of like 200 something. So currently it's like 16, because these things, what they do is they decay and then they reverse split. So what I'm expecting it to do probably is it hit a low of 12. It's gone up to about 16. I'm expecting it to go into the 20s at some point this like summer or fall. So that's where I've kind of like I'm putting whenever we see like green days, I'm putting some money into SPXU for like I think I have September and January calls for like $20. You know, it hit 20 back here. Then it got crushed because we had a really good, day, and then since then it's kind of just been chopping. So it's flattening out again. But what I want to see again is, a run up, and then at that point, if the stock market crashes, it's a good hedge against, everything. Yeah, it's fine, Nathan. Yeah, I just explained that on here. Oops. Here we go. right now the inflow, according to Webull, was about 14,000, and the outflow was about 16. So I mean, we were down today, so that makes sense. Obviously, this is going off of just Webull stuff, I think, so it's not a hugely accurate like indicator, but it does at least show you some sentiment. All right. And then let's see what. So we got about three. What was it? Almost 3 million in volume today, but it was a pretty slow day for Aterian. Let's go through some of these. Yeah. So, I mean, just to even like put it in reference, we got no volume today on DTC. Like all these other days, at least some of these. Oh, am I on the weekly? I need to change that. Here we go. Here we go. So, like, you can see there was some volume that actually came in previously, but it's died out for at least today. We'll see. This is a stock with very low liquidity, but it's not as well known by a lot of people. So, obviously this looks like it reversed out of this downtrend, and now it's trying to find some footing going up. It wouldn't surprise me to see it, chop a little bit lower into the fours again, and then before it takes the next step higher, but we'll see. Let's go over GameStop real quick. Take a look. To me, they look like they're basically consolidating. They had that, it almost looks like a bull flag where they've gone up and now they're consolidating. And will we take another step up? So far, the stochastic looks like it's coming back up again, and we're still green on the MACD. So, I mean, I could see another move on GameStop coming up maybe later this week or next week. We'll see. Let's check AMC. AMC right now is flattening a little bit. Looks like it's trying to come down on the MACD, and it's already crossed over back here on stochastic. So, I hope it runs for everybody, but is SPU not the triple leveraged one? Let me see. Is it just a single leveraged? No, it's 3-time inverse. I'm right. It should say something up here. Let's see. Yeah, so it's 3 times. It's minus 3 times the return of the underlying benchmark for a single day. So, yeah, but it is. Yeah, SPXU is a 3x leveraged. So there's multiple ones. Like not every, but like a lot of these different ones have their own. Yeah, they're just different like makers. SPXS is another 3x bear one as well. Ultra Pro is the one from Pro Shares, and the other one is Direxon Daily? Yeah. So there you go. So this one is, and so is this one. They're just different companies that do it. I don't think there's a huge difference in results. They're both basically doing the same exact thing. It's kind of like the SPX versus SPY. Like, they're both basically the same thing. There's like slight differences, but like for the most part, they're they're both doing about the same thing. Your results will be pretty close. And then, I'm holding off on FAS until later, but FAS is the 3X bear financials. And I think for right now, I'm holding off until later on to see what kind of trouble is going to come down the pipeline. If any of these guys are over leveraged and their banks are part of this thing, it could cause a triple effect. So, but I'm going to keep my eyes on that, and I'm not going to start stocking up on that at this point right now. I want to see kind of what happens with all that. So, no, it's fine, Nathan. You're good. I don't mind covering the outflow. All right. Anyone else doing anything? What's going on? Anyone want to talk? Ask questions? You're more than welcome. You want to check other tickers? Are we out of the bear market or recession yet? No, I don't think we are. We're not in the clear. I mean, technically, let's check on the SPY. I think we bounced out of the indicator for the bear market. I think it's a certain amount of there's a definition. I think we were if we were in the bear market down here, I think we bounced basically out of it. So technically we're not in the bear market right now, but I think eventually we're coming down this line, at least minimum. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a dead cat bounce that kind of like fades like this down here, like, kind of like on the, or if it's going to be like a, oh my God, like, whoosh and really steep downhill, kind of like it was here. But can you repeat yourself about GME? Sure. Yeah, I was just saying on here right now, looks like the stochastic is starting to curl back up on here. And if you look at the MACD, it's still pretty healthy. I'd like to see a little bit more pressure up. Obviously, today was a red day for them. If it's another red day tomorrow, then that MACD is going to be getting a little tighter, and we'll have to see what the stochastic does. But, if it is going to curl up, I could see it going kind of like mid to end week. So. Oh, you were talking about the SPY? Yeah. I mean, here's what I know. I know that there are gaps down here in this range, and that's why I drew out this thing. So in the 340s right here, there was a bunch of gaps that happened during the election cycle, and I am expecting those to fill at some point. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, the next week, what it's going to be, but I'm expecting this stuff down here to get filled. And that's going to be rough. Oilers are playing. Can't stay long, but it came to drop the like. Thanks. Hopefully everyone has a good evening. Thanks, Becca. Actually, wait, crash. That could be a good thing. I can buy more of my index funds. Yeah, that's kind of what you need to do. And my hope is that meme stocks run and, the market, the market's going to go back down here at some point. Like, there's too much going on. They're the quantitative tightening is happening. They're basically pulling in all the stuff that they used to pump the markets up. So the market was down here on the crash. They started like just throwing money at this thing, and it just pumped, right? And now they're needing to tighten. So now you're going to see this start to come down, and I would expect it to be down in this range again. And once it does that, there are going to be buying opportunities. And, is this the new low? Who knows? But if we go back a little bit further back, I mean, you can see the S&P back in 2010 was down here. And we've just been going up and up and up and up. And, yeah, sure, we've had a couple of, hiccups, 18. But if let's go to the monthly. This is really, really steep, is what I'm telling you. And it should, my guess, be down here for a little bit, and then we could see new highs and all that stuff. But let's look at the past, so where were our crashes, right? What was that? 98. This was the .com crash right here. And that doesn't look that scary, right? And then we had the one in '07, right? Look at this. Boom. So these are, quote unquote, the stock market crashes on the monthly. So going from a high of 124-ish down to lows of 60, right? Well, where are we now? Look how much higher up we are. We hit at 480. We had gotten from 216 all the way to 480, and now we need to cool off. Look at this. On the monthly, on the RSI, right up here, we had crossed over. We were going to cool off no matter what would happen. If you look at here, you go a little bit hotter, but then you got to have a little drop, consolidation, drop. Then we pushed all the way up. Now we're cooling off again. But yeah, we're tightening now, and we need to tighten. And if you look, on the stochastic here, they're trying to cross over on the monthly, and could we see another leg up? Yeah, I could see them going into the 420s or 430s, and then crashing it back down further. The problem is nobody knows. The big guys know. They know what they're doing, because they're the ones basically pulling in the reins and letting it fly. They're the ones with the money. But yeah, take a look. It's right there. All right. That's good. We got at least 60-something likes, right? All right, so let's just go back up. Make sure. Yeah, but I would like to see I'm going to go long in a couple different funds in this range, and then hopefully we'll have another rip-roaring rip up, and it'll go for a while. Hey, Anon, thanks for your work. I appreciate it. I was wondering, can we still squeeze up in the next couple months, or are we looking at a slow climb? We can still. We have 40% short interest. So, Fish from the Discord and, obviously also Reddit, he just shared with us that the Bloomberg was reporting 11.3 million shares for a short interest, which means that the short interest is actually about 39, almost 40% again. So it's still on the table. The lower the stock price goes, the more retail buys down these ranges. It's still very likely that they didn't get in the clear yet. I got Aterian on the monthly. Looks crazy, right? When in doubt, zoom out. So let's take a look. On the MACD, a couple more green. You could see it cross over. We've had basically just 2 green months in the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So in the last 16 months, we've had 2 green months. That's it. But look at the volume on those. That's how you know something's going on with the stock. All right. I don't get it. Don't buy yet. You can do whatever you want. It could go up, and I could be completely wrong. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinions Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know for a fact that the SPY is going to get down to this level again. But to me, that makes a lot of sense, filling those gaps that they left from back in during the election cycle. So 247, which would be, I'd have to really move back. 247 is down here. Let's see. We'll see. I marked it for you, opinionated. Do a 10-minute monthly, draw a trend line. Yeah. Yeah. I know definitely at some point this is going to be an area that's going to get tested because it's got to, they had 6, I think, straight days that gapped up. They're going to fill those. They're going to fill those real close. So, yeah, how did that not cause a massive bubble burst? Oh, wait, yeah, it did. All right. We're in a bubble. It's like a snail crash. It's all speculative, but yeah. One more question. What's your opinion on the Amazon split? Is it a good time to buy or wait? Personally, for me, I'm not adding any more shares until I at least see down here or possibly even in this range. That's just me. I already own Amazon shares long. I've got a lot of them now. I don't mind a long climb. It's the constant rejection at 330s. Yeah, I mean, let's go back to Aterian. Let's go. We're on the daily. I mean, here was 330, right? We broke above it here, right? We did get up to, what was that, like 360 there. That was a 340 day. It's fine. Big money piled into the VIX by the millions. They expect to crash. Yeah, I mean, at some point, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. Like I told people this before. You better know what you're doing with UVXY if you're going to play it. If you're going to do a crash like that, and you have to get in and out. Like you can't get greedy and be like, oh, it could go up a little bit. Like with those things, they move so fast. You need to get in and out. So, just throwing that out there. Not financial advice, but you need to watch yourself when you're playing with those types of investment vehicles because they're dangerous and they move fast. I know it's ETFs. I call them EFTs. All right. I see you, brother, I believe. By the way, what's tendies mean? So it was back in the Wall Street bets days, tendies equaled money, or like, yeah, they're going to get a whole bunch of chicken tendies after they made their big bucks, Yeah. Wall Street bets used to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's still amusing, but it's like it kind of lost its lure because for a while it was just like I would watch the memes and the videos and just like laugh like hard, and then it just completely went sideways. Once they started banning tickers and doing like, all right, crash for what? The whole market? Yeah, we were talking about the whole market. What's up, Tom? How are you? Overminding Man, I've not had a chicken tender in a long time. Go out and get some. I mean, you can get them pretty much anywhere. Like fast food, restaurants. My kids eat them all the time. All right. I'm late. Work. Oh, yeah. What's up, Jerry? How are you? Yeah, I think today, who was the winner today? It was Goat, right? Yeah, Goat won today. Jerry had to have a streak end. I've been getting Chick-fil-A. Yeah, Chick-fil-A is really good. Chick-fil-A is super good. Spooner, what's up, dude? Opinionated says, "Yep, I agree. Wall Street was fun, and then they fell off. Yeah, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. It's I used to just cackle. My wife be like, "What are you laughing at?" And I would show her, and she was like, "Why is that funny?" Is it just me, or has the short squeeze not been the same since SST crashed and ATER hit 7? Yeah. So it's, I don't know. Something's obviously going on during this run up. The fact that that sub got shut down was like really weird. Like it just, yeah. We can take a look and see about SST if you'd like. SST. It's down here. It's at 868. I guess that's a recent low. Yeah, that's the recent low. The low is 770, and right now the recent low is the 868. So it's not great. I've been staring at the Wyckoff chart in this Discord. It looks a lot like ATER's in the last month. Yeah, I mean, we'll go through a period of consolidation, then we'll take another leg up, and then, people will be talking about the stock again. It will get volume again, and, this is how these things go. And the fact that a lot of people can't seem to, wrap their heads around, yeah, it may not go straight up all the time. And they go, "Oh, this thing doesn't exist," and they're the first ones to, bash the stock when it starts running again, and then it keeps running, and then they FOMO in again, and then this is the difference. The people who are smart will just keep averaging down when the price is low. If you believe in the company long, that's what you do. The people who are like playing this as a squeeze thing are jumping in and out, and most of the time they're losing money. Like, you only lose money if you sell. Like, if you average down and get your, at this point right now, even if you had say you had a $6 or $7 average, right? And every single time it drops below 3, you buy. Your average is going to come down. And the next time it runs back up, it'll be easier for you to be in profit. You can either, if you wanted to, get out, or if you wanted to, but this is what smart people do. Is, these institutions, they want to lower their average as well. So, they'll buy a couple shares each quarter, and, they'll get their average down because they're not going anywhere. A lot of these ones, a lot of the funds and a lot of the, institutions aren't doing that. They're just literally, okay, the stock's low, we'll buy a little bit more, and then we'll, lend out the shares. And, this is what BlackRock does and all these other ones, and they make a lot of money doing it, so... all right, we'll take a look at BBIG because somebody requested that. I mean, I know people were excited today. It started moving up. People were like, "Oh, this is it," and then it finishes doji. All right, well, I mean, it's still technically finished up, so that's good. It's green. It's crossing over on the stochastic, so that's good. At this point, I don't think it's out of the woods as far as the MACD yet. It'll probably kind of consolidate and chop a little bit more before it moves and crosses over on the MACD, and we see a move up. My guess would be maybe next week. So could it consolidate this week, maybe towards the end of the week, have a little bit slight move up? How does the options change look for that one? All right, let's take a look. Not a ton in the money for this week. Good amount of. I mean, they're going to try to push you guys down in below $2. Like their goal is going to be to finish like in the 190s for the end of the week. Could you beat that? Sure, but at this point right now, that's what they're doing. They're going to basically chop around and basically bleed out on theta because there's a good amount of options that are right now. They just added 2,290 in volume today for the $2 ones, which are in the money. But if I was a market maker, I'd be aiming for that to, push it down. And there's plenty of open interest on the $2 puts. I need to get an option scanner so I can kind of give you guys a better heads up about that. But all right. But yeah, that's what I see right now. I mean, stochastic looks like it's going to be crossover. It's a little bit oversold, and then the MACD should at least flatten out, and then you might see it move maybe around Wednesday or Thursday into next week. So, hopefully that answers your question. What do you think they're going to do about the manipulation? Oh, sorry. When do you think they're going to do something about the manipulation? Their goal is going to be never. They're going to hope that this kind of continues on like this forever and they can control the markets through price actions and cheating. I think the SEC is finally going to start questioning how some things are going, and that will be a good thing for the entire market. Hi there, great one. Hey Matt, how are you? We discussed Wyckoff the other day on the stream. Yep, Wyckoff is kind of where I see us in the accumulation phase, and then we'll take another leg up. Raising Cane's tendies. I had to stifle laughter when you put up the BBB chart, but every time I see it, it's lower. Listen, people want to know what's going on with the stocks that they bought, and I'm not going to crap on them. It's just, to me, I didn't like management for them, but to each their own. I think some people think, I want to see what Tide does personally, but because right now crypto's obviously not doing well, and everyone's banking on this thing, and it's like it's also not profitable, and it's they're raising a ton of money, and it's like all these good ideas, but none of them are actually making them money. And that's an important thing when you're in business, because if you're not making money, then things are not going well. All right, what's up, Overminding? You're out. Okay, well, have a great evening. Sucks DTC. Yeah, did you try calling their number? I've been slammed with work. Looks like I'm gonna have some bandwidth this week. Yeah, I mean, hit them up and just say, listen, I know, somebody had been writing you. Have you a chance to get back to them? Because retail is interested in speaking with you. So the only way to make money in the stock market is to short and buy puts. I mean, you can also lose your shirt shorting, so I don't know about that. You could basically, if you wanted to try something, you could find whatever retail is excited about and buy puts on them as an experiment. It's kind of like for anyone that's played craps before. There's the pass line and the don't pass line. It seems to me whenever I'm in Vegas or in Atlantic City or in a casino and I'm playing craps, I don't play craps that often, and I play blackjack and I play craps. Those are my two games usually, and I typically don't go that long because it's just in my younger days, I would go sometimes sit down on the tables and I would, spend a couple hours, but there's a lot of other stuff to do. But I always found that with craps, it was almost like the guys that were betting the don't pass line were never like super excited, but they kept raking in more money than the people that were playing the pass line. It's more fun playing the pass line, but sometimes the no pass line is like the don't pass line is, where if you have a bunch of inexperienced shooters and, you know, they're just throwing the dice, not having like a method to it. Sure, you've got dumb luck, and sometimes they'll win, but for the most part, they'll crap out at some point. And so a lot of people play the don't pass line on people that look like they're not like, consistent, because odds are that way. So that's kind of how I view like, but I personally I don't think a lot of people should short. You can always buy puts if you're think something's going to go down, or you can sell covered calls, whatever you want to do. But personally, I think shorting is dangerous, especially for most retail. You can get yourself in some deep trouble for that. What do you think about the new meme stock video by SEC? I think the SEC is a bunch of. No, I'm trying to keep it clean. I think they made a huge mistake doing that, because they basically showed their true colors. Mocking retail investors is not exactly the best look for the SEC. I know they probably meant it as a good thing, but it basically just further showed me that they know what's happening. They know that this is a dangerous thing to the market, and that, they should have stepped in a long time ago and helped fix some of these problems, and they've never done it because they have had no incentive to. It wasn't until now retail investors are up in arms and asking questions and researching stuff that now all of a sudden they're having to do something. We basically forced their hand into action. And it's going to take forever, and they're going to drag their feet. But at some point, I do think that things will get slightly better. So, iPod and iPuff SPACs, buy under $10, sell above print every day. Okay. Crypto's tanking literally right now. Yeah, I can't pull up, I think, like... I mean, maybe we can look at Bitcoin Cash. No, that's not going to show us the same thing. So... yeah, I don't see anything on these. So... unfortunate, but we can't pull it up on that chart. Does this one do it, maybe? No. Okay, not going to show it. Don't pass line players always get the dirty looks. Yep, and they're always the ones raking in the money, too. And on Speak Your Mind, we'll probably all agree with you. No, but I mean, listen, right now the market's choppy, and it's hard to make money in this market because most people don't know where it's going next. Could we rip up to 420s and 430s? Sure. We could also just as easily head straight down to the 340s. So it's hard right now because nobody has a clear sense of where things are going except for the big guys. And so the best thing we can do is kind of watch what we think they are doing. Keep an eye. And it's one of those things where, if you're 100% long, that's fine if you've got time. But, if you don't like seeing your account, swing, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even if you're just, starting out hundreds of dollars, you can add hedges in there. Like, you can hedge against, for example, like a stock market crash by buying some inverse stuff. And, there are things you can do, and you should learn about how, because, yeah, it limits your upside, but at the same time, like your goal is to not lose money, right? So it's not a bad idea to at least throw in a hedge here and there. The worst that can happen is if it does go down, you can sell, make a little bit of profit, and buy more stuff back in. So Bitcoin dropped 7% in the last couple hours. Ouch. That's a lot of money. But every time this happens, you guys remember, there's a correlation between this and meme stocks. And I know it's been called out before, and I'm curious about it myself. I mean, usually, if I remember correctly, margin calls start soon. Just reading through to see if there's anything new or exciting. So GameStop's, somebody wrote a DD, GameStop's critical margin theory. When you short a stock, you need to maintain assets to maintain that position. If the price of the stock goes up, the person you borrowed it from needs to know that you're still good to buy the stock back and return it. All right, so he basically is just going through how it works when you buy on margin, or do you short also on margin. He's theorized that the resistance we've seen on GameStop over the last 1.5 years is a safeguard against margin calls. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad looking. I'll show you guys. Shoot. Can I zoom out? There you go. So remember back here, this was like a very, very important number, right? And then it seemed like every single time it went to 350 right here. This is 350. This was 350. And then as this has gone through, they have this critical margin call. It's going down because they're basically getting closer to this point where if this line surpasses it, then they'll get margin called. So basically, he's putting out the math on it. So let me see if I bring this over, because this is actually an interesting theory, and it would make sense. But he's basically going through here and saying that he can plot this decay mathematically right here. So assets equal net liability. P is the initial short price. R is the rate of decay. T is time. So what they did was they basically put it out where in the beginning it started here, but now it's gone down significantly. So at some point, if that breaks through, that gives it the price right here. So why did we buy off or bounce off the resistance at 199? He speculates that if this is true, blue line highlighted, they're trying to save themselves. Critical margin is deteriorating way faster than the borrow rate. So the margin maintenance is going up 53% each year. Okay. Today, critical margin is at 169. Interesting. So if the price breaks above 169, they are thinking that that would be the margin calls. Sorry, I'm just deleting the... Oops, I didn't mean to pin that. Get that off. Unpin. Sorry about that. Nathan, thanks for what you're doing, Anna. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, I mean, it's fun talking to you guys. I mean, obviously our crowds are a lot less. We used to have like 200 people in here, and now it's down to like 50 at each time. But, I think the numbers they'll pick up again when the stock moves back up. It's typically what ends up happening. Yeah, I'm married too, and I'm sure a bunch of other people are too. All right, so anyone else got any questions? But yeah, they're basically there's a bunch of people that are on Reddit that think that these guys are close to margin calls. Now, what that would do for us is Aterian's not big enough to actually, it's not big enough to actually affect anything. But here's the thing: if you're a short and you're short multiple different stocks, they all typically run up together, and that's what we saw the last time they lost out in margin calls. If you actually put up GameStop. All right, so GameStop obviously that moved on the 27th through before that too, but the big day was the 28th, right? That's when it made that massive spike. So look at this. So GameStop had it there. Look at costs. It's a tiny, like they make headphones, and they were like $1, like $3 right down here, right? $3. They had a low of 80 cents. And look at this right there, $127 a share at its peak. And what day was it? On the 28th. That's when all these margin calls were getting hit, right? What day? 27th, right? 28th. Like all these stocks ran together, right? So AMC had a mini one back here on the 27th, 28th, but they had theirs a little bit later. But it started here basically. It hit a low of like 191. It moved all the way up to like 11, and then it kind of consolidated for a while, and then the pressure just got too much. And this is when they squeezed up to 70, and then they issued that ATM into them. Like they would have squeezed in this range. They issued an ATM at this point, like in this range, which is I don't know why you would do that. I'm not a fan of that decision, but it is what it is. So the problem with Aterian's stuff right now is let's take a look and I'll cover it real quick. Yeah, so like I said, there's not enough deep in the money ones, because they're already doing that thing where they're sliding the stock down. They're gonna aim for like 250s. They'll try to get it down to the 240s if they can, but we'll see. Some believe margin calls should be called around the 17th. That would be not this Friday, but the next Friday, for reference, if anyone's asking. Carl knows about the 17th. He read my mind. Is it possible to get the massive spikes? Can the market makers and hedge funds prevent it? I mean, yeah, it's still possible to get these huge spikes. If they get margin called, then they have to close the price. It's basically a computer that takes over. so it's not like humans are like, when should we buy? It's literally a computer that takes over and says, I need to get my money out now, and they start closing their position. So they literally just turn on a computer that says, I'll get whatever price people are willing to go with. And so as if nobody's selling, then the price will start going up rapidly until they find more sellers. That's how these margin calls work, because they're trying to get shares out. The best way to get shares out is to let the price go up until people are like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. And then they sell. Like, that's how you can get shares back in the system. So yeah, I mean, market makers and hedge funds have been preventing it every single week, it seems like. But, at some points that we do win. And it doesn't happen often, but, when we do, we usually win big. Maybe why they're preparing for it in the options chain. I mean, oh, you're saying that there's a bunch of 250 calls on the 17th. Sorry, I was looking at this week. I'm like, that's not a lot of... Is that what you wrote? The options chains on the 17th? Okay, yep, gotcha. Sorry, Carl. I mean, it's going to be a target. They're going to try to push that stock down and burn those, but, I mean, if people keep stacking those, and... Yeah, I mean, that's something that could happen. But that's how it should start. Like, that's how a solid, these shares are cheap. Like, calls have gotten cheap because the stock's getting pushed down. And so IV's getting crushed. And, I could see if people started stacking like twos along with that, that could be a pretty solid, like, pretty solid thing. So, yeah, I'd love to see the volume increase on the like lower option chains, but if they could get that going, that'd be pretty nice. Because this is where it was screwed up last time, was there wasn't enough, and I know there's a bunch of stuff in August too. People are still adding to like the 250s in August, because there's earnings coming out in August, so. That's another one to keep your eye on, is the August options chains, because there's already 1,201 open interest at $2.50 there. Good amount of $5 open interest on the 5s and the 7s at October. But yeah. You're right. There is definitely something going on the 17th, and that's a lot of open interest. Not like a lot, but like a good amount of open interest that's in the money right now. So, is retail filling up the options too? It could be. Yeah, I mean, if there was enough in the money options on the June 17th, that would definitely help. And that's the problem with last time, was everyone was buying outside the money calls, and they were like, well, somebody else would fill in the like stuff, and that's not how it works. Like, you kind of have to start with like the bottom and then build out your stuff. Like, don't worry about your $10 calls when they may never hit if you don't fill up the bottom of the options chain. Like, Spurt had a ton of stuff in the money that they had to let it go because it was too overwhelming. But yeah, like, shares are fine too, and I'm not advocating for anyone buying options. I'm just saying, like, people ask me to look at the options, I'm looking at them. Yeah, I mean, there needs to be a good amount of open interest, and there seems to be at that level. So I think that's a good thing. Exercise them cause a gamerette. It's money versus money. I can say for sure the market makers are playing games with the options. I'm buying January $1 calls for. I'm sure I'm reading that right. I'm buying January $1 calls. 2 cents ask price is yet August is overpriced. Yeah, I've actually been able to pick up. And this is gonna sound weird, but I was able to pick up a bunch of 250 calls for 2024. For I think I got them for 156 or 57. Sorry, it was a jelly bean, Jesse. Yeah, so I was able to get like January 19th, 2024, $2.50 calls for, I mean, honestly, dirt cheap. Like, and like as soon as Aterian will get any sort of like, if it goes above $3, all of a sudden those I'm up like a couple grand on those options off the bat because they shouldn't have been priced down there anyway. But if they keep giving it to me, then I'm going to keep buying them because that gives me basically like 2 years worth of theta, right? Not quite 2 years, but good amount. So, all right. All right. Well, we're going to be wrapping up soon. I try to end these around 11 each night. But yeah, you guys tell me, is there anything else you want to cover or talk about? Last things. If not, then I'll sign off. And if you've hung out in here long enough and enjoyed talking to some people, we do have a free Discord, and I will link it right now. There. So that's a free Discord in the comments. Um, Come join us, hang out. There's a bunch of really smart people in there. We got access to Bloomberg and all sorts of other things, and yeah, it's actually free. Like people are always like, "What's the catch?" I'm like, "There isn't one." Like I started it to help educate, you know, retail. I'm coming in late. Any ATER updates? Yeah, I mean, we basically just covered that. The biggest things that happened tonight were we just took a look at the options chains. It looks good for next week. There was a bunch of 250s that are in the money. I gotta get rid of these bots. Sorry about this. Hold on. Come on, bots. Hold on. I'm reporting all these bots. It's a pain in the butt, honestly. Like, they just create new accounts and then just do it all over again to anyone that's streaming, apparently. It's a big pain. I want to make a bot to remove the bots. All right. Okay, maybe we should get being caught up now. Guy's a pain in the bot. Yeah, he is. He is. Maybe it's a she. Maybe it's a computer that's doing it. I don't know. But yeah, come join us, hang out in the Discord. The link's there. Um, and honestly, I'm not even going to talk about the Patreon until the stock's in a better place. But yeah, I was going to say, eventually the goal is for me to go on and stream all day long, and eventually we'll get there. But at this point right now, the market's just so choppy that I totally get it. All right, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. If you're new to this, then join us in the Discord. We'll kind of go over stuff. And oh, that's right, we were doing Aterian. Sorry, I blanked out for a second. All the porn bots came in and it screwed me up. So what we learned today from Aterian was Fish said that on his Bloomberg it was showing 11.3 million shares short interest, which means that the float is basically about 40% again. So they have been shorting and adding to the short interest again. So that's where we are now. So that's one thing. And then the options chains for not this week but next week are starting to get stacked in the 250s. And if them people start buying the 2s and the 150s, that's a good thing. So that's kind of all we have going now. But things are looking like it'll be maybe, and I think I told people this, if you look at the MACD, it looks like it's going to cross over, and by next week, that would be right in line with, and the awesome, it's starting to move up into the green, the TTM. We just had, a crossover here. Hopefully we'll get into the blue tomorrow or the next day. So that's what's going on with Aterian, if you missed it. But you all take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then we'll do it all again. All right. Have a good one, guys.